What's up, guys? So today we're talking about the Squid Industries Squiddy-C. All right, this is one of their newer models. All right, if you guys saw my video on the original Squiddy, it was a white PVC plastic Balisong trainer, and I was extremely impressed with it. Now, I wouldn't say it's an awesome training tool as much as it is a fun toy. All right, if you just want to play around with Balisongs and kind of, you know, you see all these videos, people flipping around, looks fun, but maybe you don't want to get hurt, maybe you don't want to cut yourself, nothing wrong with that. Maybe you have a young teenager or something at home that wants to get into the hobby and you don't want them to hurt themselves. Obviously, having a trainer is a much better option, and even going as far as having a plastic trainer, okay, is even better. All right, maybe less damage to things around the room as your kids are thrown around and hitting the walls and the floors and everything else. Not to mention just totally safer. So the short version of this video is if you want a fun Balisong toy, this is definitely worth checking out. There's 3 different models. The original Squiddy is my favorite still. That's $41.99, all right? Then there's a newer Squiddy-G, which is gray, different design, similar to this one. That I think is $49, and then this is the Squiddy-C, which is $52, all right? So this is $10 more than the original. It's completely clear. Obviously, as you can see here, it is a really, really fun Balisong type toy, fidget toy, whatever you want to consider this to be, because it's not a knife. There's no sharp edge, you know, so just something to consider there. Now, the rest of the video is going to be more for the people who already flip Balisongs and butterfly knives, because they're going to want to know how this compares to what they're flipping. All right, but the very short version of this whole thing is this is a really, really fun toy, okay? Is it going to be worth, you know, $42 to $52? Well, of course, that's up to you. And it kind of seems expensive. It's just, you know, a little plastic thing. Why is this $52? Well, first of all, it's made in America, and nothing's cheap to make here anymore. Second of all, the person making it has to make a little bit of money, right? That's called business. And lastly, if you ever walked into a toy section of a store, even at Walmart, you would be shocked how much plastic sells for. All right, so as far as the price goes, of course, I would love to see this to be, you know, $19.99, so everyone can get one. But I don't think that it's unreasonable to be $52. Now, this is what it came with. There's a sticker in here, all right, which is cool. Upside down. Squid Industries, all right. And then the paperwork here. There's all the social media stuff if you want to follow them. All right, on top is the warranty. You can pause right there to read that. And there's the maintenance tips. You can pause and read that. All right, so let's take a closer look at this. Okay, again, I just think it's really cool that it's clear. Of course, you can see the washers, the hardware here. This is a Zen style, if you haven't already noticed. So these 2 black pins here hit the side of the tang, how it's cut out. All right, so as this is rotating around, it's nice this is clear so you can see everything. Okay, that's where the pin hits the base of the blade. And that keeps the separation on the handles, okay? So they're not just like together like this. Now, because this is plastic, as you can see, it does flex. Now, this brings me to my first negative point about this particular design, is that when you're flipping this, okay, it will bounce off the other handle. Okay, you can see I could flex it, all right? When you're flexing it, you're building up pressure, just like if you had a latch on here, okay? Which is, it's a little unnecessary only because this is a latchless design. Obviously, you can see that. All right, so if you had a latch, you need that pressure to keep the latch locked. Okay, so basically it would be like this. When you squeeze it together, the latch would click in, and that's what would lock the knife open or closed. All right, so because this is latches, so you don't need that tension at all. Now, obviously, if it didn't have these pins, just the handles smacking together, maybe it would cause premature wear. It wouldn't feel as good. So I kind of get, you know, why the design is what it is, but because of it, it does create kind of a, I don't know, kind of a springiness to it. I did notice when flipping this, it will bounce off the other handle, unlike a lot of different metal Balisongs, okay? So when flipping this other handle, all right, if you don't grab it, it could actually just bounce right back out of your hands, all right? So it's hard to kind of demonstrate this, but if you see how this is bouncing away. So that's something that I definitely noticed in flipping. Didn't happen often, but sometimes I went to go grab the handle and I just wasn't fast enough, and I went doink and just popped back out. All right, so as far as using this as, you know, a training tool to flip other Balisongs, that's obviously going to be a negative. The only negative that I really, because I don't really care about that, it's just worth mentioning because I'm, you know, obviously reviewing it, But the one thing that I did want to mention that I did not like about this one, and that's why I still prefer the original Squiddy, is by design here, you can see that there's a pin through what would be the blade. All right, now this creates the tension when it's closed. So when it's open, the Zen pins are keeping a gap between the handles. All right, but when it's closed, this is keeping the gap between the handles. Again, unnecessary because it is a latchless design. All right, it looks kind of cool, and obviously it's incorporated in the design. All right, it makes kind of a face. You can see the two little holes here in the nose, I suppose. All right, you can see that even more in the Squiddy-G. But my issue with it is that, like, no other Balisongs that I'm aware of on the market has any kind of protrusions on the blade. So what's happening is when I'm flipping this knife, just like this, I'm feeling this nub, this plastic pin, rub on my hand. So my issue on the placement of this pin is that when I'm doing different manipulations where it's coming around, all right, and the blade is coming close to the handle here, I can actually feel it rubbing on the hand, okay? Sometimes it'll just kind of be like a tickle. Sometimes it'll rub a little bit harder, be uncomfortable. But occasionally, all right, this is like from 3 weeks of flipping, I would say, I can't really put a number on it, maybe 2 or 3 times a day this would happen. It would come down and it would literally just pinch the skin on my palm. All right, now obviously I'm a chunky dude, okay, but it's not like I have extra fat drooping skin on my hand, okay? We all have skin that obviously moves, okay? So when doing, like, let's say this manipulation here, right, I'm just turning the knife around and then coming back up. And when it comes back up, all right, it's actually going to pinch the skin in between this pin on this side and the handle. Okay, so like right here, my fingertip is representing the skin on my palm. All right, so if it's tucked in close to the hand here, and I come around, just like that, it's coming down and it's pinching the skin. See how the skin is raised a little bit? So it's pinching that, okay? It's actually uncomfortable. So from a aesthetic standpoint, it's kind of cool and different, obviously making the little faces with it. But from a functionality standpoint, I just don't like a pin that's up here just because of that, just because of the occasional pinch or rub, you know, or scrape on the hand. Now, it's not cutting me or anything like that. It's not pinching enough to bruise or whatever, but it's enough to be uncomfortable. So that's why I much prefer the original Squiddy over this one from a flipping standpoint. If you're gonna be flipping hours and hours every single day, I definitely recommend the original over this. If you're occasionally flipping, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it's certainly worth mentioning. Now, I did want to show you this. There's a little decal on the side of one of the handles. Okay, it's only on one side. All right. Of course, if you don't want it, you can just peel that off and stick it to something else if you wanted. But I wanted to point out that you can see everything is pretty symmetrical here. There's no difference between each handle. So there really is no bite handle or safe handle. I know some guys will take a latch out and maybe put in like a little, you know, piece of paracord or something like that to differentiate between the handles. From a feel standpoint, there's nothing. That little sticker, you can't really feel while you're flipping it. So I'd recommend, if you are using this again as a training tool, to maybe put a little bit of tape around one handle. Okay, if you wanted to leave the decal on, put it on the other handle. All right. Keep in mind where the channel is here, okay, and where the, you know, quote unquote blade ends. Obviously, you don't want to cover that. But you can take some electrical tape or something and build up this handle so that when you're flipping it, you actually have that feel, okay? So you know what's the bite handle and what's the safe handle. Now, even though I have some criticisms in flipping it and using it, I really do like this. I think as far as what it is, this is about as good as it would get. I don't think you can make a better quality, clear, you know, Balisong trainer out of plastic. This was very, very well done. It was very well thought out. It is totally fun. I just want to make the distinction that if you're trying to learn how to flip a Balisong, I would stay away from something like this and get right into something that's metal. It doesn't matter whether it's stainless steel or titanium or aluminum. I mean, Squid Industries also does a bunch of other metal trainers as well. I just think this is super unique. That's why I focused on this. That's why I wanted to try this. I was super impressed with the original Squiddy. I would still recommend that one more, just because, again, you know, different designs doesn't have this pin in there. You know, neither one has broken on me. I've flipped both of them multiple times. I've dropped it a ton, both on hardwood inside as well as outside in the grass and stuff. You know, as far as being scratch resistant, I mean, there's not really too much wear or anything on this one. But because it's clear, I would imagine it would show some scratches after a while, especially, you know, once they get dirty and stuff. But I mean, overall, it's a really fun toy, and that's how I'm going to leave it, is that this is a toy. It's not a knife, okay? It's not nearly as dangerous or harmful, I would say, as even the metal trainers. A metal trainer can hit you in the face and do a lot of damage. This plastic trainer is not really going to do anything unless it hits you in the eye. I don't think you're going to break stuff in the house. I don't think you're going to mar up your floor. I don't think you're going to, hurt yourself or anything like that. So I would definitely consider this to be a much safer trainer option. I think this would be awesome, especially for the parents out there who have their teenagers coming up to them and saying, hey, I really want to get into flipping a Balisong, and they're kind of freaking out and going, oh, I don't really want you to flip in a sharp knife. That's dangerous. Well, this is not. There's very little danger involved with a dull plastic fidget spinner. That's what this is. This is a cool fidget spinner. Now, I happen to think this is really cool, and I got one not only just to test out, but for the collection. I like the variety of different Balisongs on the market, and I definitely think this is extremely unique. All right, so that's where my interest was. But as far as the price, $52, is that worth it? That's totally up to you. Some people are going to say absolutely not. If you were to basically take anyone off the street, okay, not a knife person, not a gear person, definitely not a Balisong flipper. If you were to just take a random person off the street and said, hey, what do you think of this cool little toy? It's kind of like a butterfly knife, only it's plastic and you can't hurt yourself with it. How much would you pay for this? They would probably say $5. When you told them $52, they would think you're crazy, but they don't get it. Just like if you're not into art and you're looking at a red circle on a black, picture frame and they say that's $100,000, you don't get that either, right? So the people in the flipping community can certainly see the value in this, okay? It is still more of a toy than a tool, in my opinion, but it's really cool. It's fun for the collectors. It's fun for the kids and the teenagers out there, especially, because I feel it is a safer option. And for me as a collector, I just think it's awesome, but anyway, that's it. As far as, flippability, definitely like the original more, only because of the downsides of this pin. But other than that, I mean, it's super smooth and it's durable enough. So let me know what you think down in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.